Okay, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Generate Sales Leads with Email Marketing Using Your Permission-Based Email List. My name is Craig Stouffer with Pinpointe, and I'm joined today by Bob Bly, noted Internet strategist, copywriter, prolific writer, and all-around great educator. I think this is now our 7th webinar with Bob, and we always get fantastic feedback from attendees. Okay, we have a few special offers for today's attendees. Bob, do you want to tell the folks about your special offer, and then I'll tell them briefly about Pinpointe.
Yes, if anyone on today's presentation, either live or the recorded version, goes to bly.com/reports, you will get 4 bonus marketing reports with a retail value of over $100, meaning we actually do sell these on my website, the package of them for $116, but they're yours free.
Okay, fantastic. And again, I always get, after people go and they download that, we get feedback from our list that people say that they really enjoy it. So, so I would really encourage everybody to take advantage of that. On the Pinpointe side, we're offering a month of free service, so you can sign up. There's a coupon code there, PPTWEBNR. It's available for a limited time through the rest of this month. But if you'd like to sign up, you can use that, and you get a free month of service up to 500,000 emails. So, with that, I'll do just a 20-second introduction to Pinpointe, and then we'll do an introduction to Bob, and then we'll hand it over. So Pinpointe is business-class email marketing. We're very feature-rich. We're the most feature-rich email marketing system. We have over 6,000 companies currently using the Pinpointe platform, mostly mid-sized businesses and smaller businesses as opposed to large corporations. We tend to be a little more B2B or business-to-business, not as many business-to-consumer, but we do a little bit of both. You can use Pinpointe to promote your content, and feedback we've heard from people is Pinpointe is kind of like Constant Contact on steroids. So that's it for our 10-second pitch. And we are joined again today with Bob Bly. Bob is a very noted Internet strategist and copywriter. He's now the author of 80 books. Bob, I don't think I've read 80 books. I don't know how you can write 80 books, but anyway, so he's a very prolific author. He's appeared on TV and radio. He has a range of clients, from small clients up to large ones, ranging from IBM, medical economics, AT&T, and so forth. And he's helped with a wide range of clients with their email marketing, copywriting, direct marketing efforts, and so forth. So we're real pleased, again, to be joined by Bob. We always get a great turnout. We always get great feedback after our events here. Welcome, Bob. And with that, I've clicked to the next slide, so I'm going to hand it over to you at this point.
Thanks, Craig. The next slide here outlines what I call the client or customer acquisition process. Where in marketing does lead generating fit in? Well, let's look at this flow chart. We start off in the upper left corner with a potential client universe, potential customer universe. These are people who could possibly be buyers of your product or service. We then identify those and send to them a lead generating promotion. Could be an email, could be, if we were working offline, could be a postcard. And we either get a response or we don't. If we do not get a response, then we continue marketing to this universe to get more responses and fill up our lead flow pipeline. For those who do respond, the next step is inquiry fulfillment. If they were offered a white paper, we fulfill the white paper, send them what they requested, as well as send them other content, other information that's relevant to the product or service we're offering. And we look to see if they respond to that package we send them, the package of material. A lot of them don't, which means you'll have to then follow up over time, and the more you follow up, the more people the more of these leads will turn into prospects. Some of them will respond when they get your material, and you'll be able to define where it says define project in the middle, a top middle column. You will be able to define a project or define a need. You'll be able to quote on that need. If your proposal is accepted, you've made the sale. If it's not, you negotiate the proposal and then close and make the sale. So that is, in a nutshell, the customer acquisition process, and lead generation, as you can see, comes in early in that process. can I rent a list of email addresses and generate leads that way? And we found that it is not a cold email to a rented list is not generally a cost-effective option for online marketing. So if you don't have and therefore it's better if you will email to a house file, an opt-in e-list of your own. So the next question is, if I don't have an email list, how do I build my list in the first place? Well, the answer is something that marketers call the Agora or the organic model of email marketing. We begin with a quote from Quiris Inc., a survey reported in DM News. Marketers have to enter that emerging inner circle of trusted companies from whom people are willing to keep reading email. And you know that there are certain emails you get where the from line makes you instantly willing to read the email. You want to become, that's the inner circle, and you want to become one of those few companies from which your prospects will read it just because it's from you. And Quiris found that the average person has 16 sources, 16 email senders whose emails they'll readily read without question. And you want to be one of those 16. In the Agora model, we use a variety of means to drive traffic not to our website homepage, but to a special page we set up, whose purpose is to capture email marketing addresses and names and build an opt-in house permission-based email file. So using the methods in the gold ovals, we drive traffic to that page where people can sign up for your list, and we get them to sign up for the list by offering them a free e-newsletter, a free online newsletter. Now, as I'll show you in a minute, if you decide you do not want to publish an e-newsletter, you can still use a variation of this model to build your house list. But the primary business model for the Agora method marketing is to have an e-newsletter. So you have a page that you put up where people can sign up for your free e-newsletter, and by doing so, opt into your e-list. And you drive traffic using a variety of known marketing methods. Looking at the gold ovals from bottom left clockwise, you can use social media, postcards, banner ads, Google AdWords, pay-per-click advertising, search engine optimization, co-registration deals, blogging, online articles, affiliate promotions, online ads, PR, emails. So there's a variety of ways to drive traffic to that page. Everyone who at the page who signs up for your e-newsletter becomes a member of your house list. And then once you have that list, you market online in two major methods, also shown by the gold ovals at the bottom. One is to have ads for your products and offers in your e-newsletter, to which people will be highly responsive. And the other one is to send solo emails, promotional emails, selling a product or service or making an offer to generate leads, such as an offer like a webinar or a white paper or other free content, to send emails, solo emails to your house e-list, your E-Zine subscribers. And that generates leads. Hewlett-Packard has used this method in their own marketing. They have about half a dozen e-newsletters on tech topics aimed at, I think, mainly IT, but also business professionals. And guys, if you hear a hesitation in my voice, I must admit to the listeners that the reason I hesitate is that I'm in my house and I'm alone, and I hear heavy footsteps going all around me, and I figured someone had broke in, and I can't do anything about it because I'm giving this this webinar. Well, it turns out I just saw leaves falling through the window, so apparently a gutter service has come and is cleaning my gutter without notifying me, and that explains all the noise and my hesitation, so I apologize, guys. Craig, it's unbelievable. I said, I'm being robbed, and I can't get off the phone.
Well, we're glad you have your priorities proper.
Yes, yes, that's right. I would rather stay on here and do my job than stop the robbery. That's only because we don't own much good stuff, so it doesn't matter. So they had a combined 4.5 million opt-in subscribers to their multiple e-newsletters. When they would send emails to those subscriber lists, it would be 5 times higher click-through rates than when they would send solo emails to rented lists of names, IT names and business names. The people who were on those lists spent a combined $60 million a month at the main HP website, and the revenue it tripled the average revenue spent per subscriber. I also note here that subscriber churn was 30% a year, which is very typical. That's one of the sort of the negatives of this model. Once you build your list, you're not done because you lose names by attrition. People drop off. They decide they don't want to get your e-newsletter anymore. They unsubscribe. And so you have to replace those names you lose, and the list trims down by about 30% a year. So here's the model that you can use. That's a variation of the Agora model if you don't want to publish an e-newsletter because you say, I don't have anyone to do it. It's too much work. We don't want to have to commit to a publication schedule. You do the same basic model, except instead of having an online newsletter, you offer a one-shot of free content. So you drive people to a page where they can download a white paper, a special report, an MP3, where they can get some digital content. And they have to opt in, just like you have to opt in to get the e-newsletter. They have to opt in to get the free content and give you their name and their email address, and along with that, permission to email them, so they become part of your opt-in list. When they request the free content, you then use a series of follow-up emails, because unlike the first case where there's an e-newsletter, when there's an e-newsletter, they're automatically hearing from you every month or every 2 weeks. But here, since there's only one, they're requesting just a one-shot, you want to make sure they hear from you beyond that. So you use an autoresponder to set up a series, delivery of a series of email messages that combine free touch in the first couple of emails and then conversion in the next few emails. Free touch means you're not selling anything, but you're just building relationships. So you might say, for example, thanks for requesting our free report on topic XYZ. Did you have a chance to look at it yet? You might want to take a look on page 7 at the checklist that tells you how to select an ERP system, where you might sell your content, get them to look at it, or you might introduce your business, your company. Then, as you go on, you would use conversion emails where you try to get them to either become a lead, identify themselves as a lead for an offer, or actually get them to buy something, if that's your business model. And we call those conversion emails. And the conversion emails would take you to a order page, and if they ordered, they would move from buyers to prospects.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah?
We have two questions I'd like to go ahead and work in real quick.
Let's do it.
One is some folks have asked churn, so churn and list drop-off, and I can touch on that a little bit. So you mentioned the 30%, and yes, folks, what we see is through attrition, we see a combination of people moving, changing, losing jobs, dying, whatever, getting married, changing their contact information, as well as just simply opting out. So churn or list attrition, same terminology. We see about 30% per year. It tends to be a little bit slow, a little bit less for business to consumer. People tend to keep their Yahoo and Gmail email addresses more frequently, or more for a longer time rather. But
right.
B2B, we do see pretty high churn. So to clarify that. And then the other one, if you want to touch on it now or work into the presentation, this comes up an awful lot. We have various opinions on it too. What's the optimum frequency to send your emails to send email campaigns to your in-house list?
That's an interesting and, I think, answerable question. The answer is as follows. Start with a frequency that you think would make sense. Let's say weekly. And watch your opt-out rate. The opt-out rate is the percentage of people on your list who unsubscribe each time you send an email marketing message. The opt-out rate ideally should be 0.1% or less. Therefore, if you start sending emails weekly, and by the second and the third weeks, the opt-out rates start spiking well above 0.1%, clearly you are emailing them too often, and you need to cut back the frequency until you can get the opt-out rate down to no more than 0.2 and ideally 0.1% or below.
Yeah, thanks. So that's some good advice. And I'd add to that too is content. Make sure that you have valuable content. We get questions from customers that, again, want to know how frequently to send, but don't send just to send to hit a schedule. I mean, obviously, it's really important that you have valuable content because content is ultimately what people are interested in, what they're going to open for. So I think it's perfect timing because this slide, and I think the next one Bob's going to cover, are going to drill into this topic a little bit further. But I guess key takeaway point is not just the frequency, but also make sure that you have something valuable to say. So make sure that you're creating valuable content as you're sending. Don't send just to have a schedule. Make sure you have something valuable when you're sending.
You're going to be sending two basic types of messages, a content message and a sales message to try to sell something. At least 50% of the emails going to your list should be content. That will keep the opt-out rate low. If your content percentage is less than that, you'll get complaints that people will say you're selling them too often and they don't like it, and not only will they opt out, but they'll actually complain. So here's on this slide is the reasons why people subscribe to an e-zine or an email, and you can see they all are what you would think: to receive discounts and special offers, to take part in specific promotions, to support the business or the organization. That I'm surprised that one is that high. To gain access to exclusive content, I would say that would be at the top. The desire to stay informed on an ongoing basis, which is similar, and again, which surprises me as being so high, want to support a business that I like. But so I would say I would take away out of that is content is important. People usually subscribe basically to get useful, how-to, actionable content, or to get special sales offers and discounts on a line of products that they use and buy. We talked about on the Agora model how to send traffic to a page that is designed just to capture the email address and name of the person signing up for the e-newsletter. This is the one that I use for my business. You can find this at www.bly.com/reports, and you'll notice it says get free for free. This is the offer we talked about earlier, actually. Get 4 free special reports from Bob Bly worth over $100. Sign up for a free, no-commitment subscription to my monthly e-newsletter on direct marketing, and get 4 free bonus reports. The idea is that people get so many e-newsletters today that they don't necessarily want another one. So you have to offer a bribe or an incentive, additional free content, just to get them to sign up for the newsletter. Here's how I think it works. People go to a sign-up box and it's only a newsletter, and they say, well, I don't need another sign-up e-newsletter. I'm not going to sign up for it. But they see a page like this, and they say, well, I don't really need another newsletter, but I'd love to get my hands on those free reports. They look interesting. So what I'll do is I'll sign up, I'll get the reports, and then if I don't like the newsletter, I'll just unsubscribe, so there's no risk. And what happens, of course, is inertia takes over. They sign up, they get the reports, and unless your newsletter is bad, they keep it. They don't unsubscribe. And so you build your list in that way with one of these pages, which are known in the industry as a free-on-free name squeeze page. It has a free-on-free offer, free gift to get free newsletter. In exchange, we get your name and your email address. And this is a good mechanism for building an in-house opt-in list. This is another variation of that. The one that we just looked at was its own separate page under its own separate URL. Here was a box that ran on the home page of my main website, designed to do a similar thing. Here we just offered one report. This was an earlier iteration. And we said, sign up to receive the free report. How to double your response rates at half the cost, so people would sign up to get the free content offer. Then the less information you ask for on these pages, the more signups you get. All I ever ask for is the name and the email address. If you get into, especially if you're a B2B marketer, if you get into asking questions like, how many locations do you have? How much money do you spend on buying valves a year? All those qualifying questions. The problem is the more questions you ask, the lower your conversion rate, the lower your sign-up rate. And each additional field you add tends to reduce the conversion rate by about 10%. So you want to ask the minimum number of questions. You can always get the other information later, but right now your primary goal is to get that name on your list, get that email address on your list. If you don't rent or swap your name, say so, have a privacy statement. Good idea for newsletter publishers is to post an archive of back issues. And then at the bottom, I have my E-Zine title and including a benefit statement, which is just the style that I use on these boxes. One email strategy that works very well in generating leads, and here's an email that was sent out to a list of an in-house list of marketing managers to try to get them interested in using this firm's mailing lists. And you notice that it doesn't really look like a typical e-newsletter. It looks email. It looks more like an e-newsletter, or it looks like information. And in fact, the sales copy is on the left, but if you notice in the right, they've literally added a column that says tips, and it talks about different direct mail formats, and because they're offering postal mailing lists here, and therefore this, even though it's a sales message, it satisfies the recipient's desire to get content. There's free content in it. So providing information in your email is a valuable strategy. Even if it's a sales message, can you come up with some content or information that you can convey along with your product sales copy? Video is growing in popularity. We see it all over the internet. I bet most of the people listening to this call, or at least a lot of you, have gotten emails that lead you to these long online video sales letter where it's somebody talking and you see on the screen a PowerPoint with the text of the words he is speaking. So video is very effective in email marketing and underused. Here was a company, an IT-type computer company that used video, and they said that of the people they sent this email to, 30% opened. In other words, they pushed the launch button, opened and opened the video, and 46% watched it. Special offers work in email marketing. People who respond to emails typically want to have a deal, a better offer. I want to have a deal that they feel offline customers aren't getting, which is why you often hear on radio commercials and TV commercials, go to our website and get this, and it's only for people who visit our website. And the rule of 10-10 is an old rule but still holds today. The rule of 10-10, which originated for selling low-priced consumer goods, was that you don't have to offer a big bribe in an email to get your online customers to order, but you had to offer some bribe. And 10-10 means you can use either 10% off the product price or $10 off. Now that'll work if you're selling, $50 to $100 products. Obviously, if you're selling a $1,000 product, $10% works, but $10 off doesn't work. So you just multiply it and make it $100 off. So small discounts can work very well, and every email you send out where you're selling a product on the internet should have within it a special offer.
There we go.
Here's a strategy that works really well. Find marketers that reach the same customer base that you do. Go to them and say, hey, let's do a cross promotion. Let's say it was Craig and I. His company's Craig, my company's Bob. I would say, Craig, would you send an email that I give you to the Craig list offering a subscription to the Bob list? You know, so they'd get my e-newsletter and those 4 free reports. So it'd be a benefit for you because you're offering great content to your list. And in exchange, anybody who signs up for it, I add their name to the list. And then I will do the same for you. I will send an email to my list offering membership on the Craig list, so my subscribers will get the great content that your list comes with, and you will get some of my subscribers on your list. So a list cross-promotion is a great way to build your e-list. I did this recently with with Robert Ringer, who publishes The Voice of Sanity. And we both, my list is about 65,000 names, relatively small. I think his is somewhere in that range or smaller. And he just mailed this email that you see here to his list, and I got 982 new subscribers at no cost. People who, on his list, who said, hey, I like that offer of the free special reports. I'm going to sign up for it. So we got over 900 new subscribers, which is significant for us, at no out-of-pocket cost. So cross-promotions can work very well. Another thing that works well for generating leads in email is ads in E-Zines. Everybody thinks in terms of solo emails. I'll rent your email list, and I'll send an email to it trying to generate leads. But one thing that's very effective is to find someone who has a newsletter that goes to your market and ask, do they take advertising? One of the publishers that does so very actively, very proactively, is Computer World. And they have several, as I remember, this is from one of them, text e-newsletters. And here's a typical ad. It's separated by rows of asterisks, and it says sponsor to indicate that it's an ad, and it's not editorial. And it says free white paper, troubleshooting application response time. And obviously the goal of this is to get people to download a free white paper. It's very straightforward. Free white paper, troubleshooting application response time. What is causing poor application performance? The network, the server, et cetera, and then find out how, and you go to the link, and you can download their free white paper. So try an ad. If you're thinking of emailing to someone's list, try an ad in their e-newsletter first. Point of fact, if the ad does not work, renting their full list and sending a solo email to it is not going to work either. So the ad, and the ad is much cheaper. It's usually a fourth to a tenth the price of renting the list. They're very inexpensive compared to actually doing a solo email to the list. Now, one thing you need for generating leads online is what we call a bait piece. If you think of marketing as fishing, the metaphor shown in this illustration, you have a hook, which is marketing, and you have the fish, which is prospect. The bait piece, you see it, is the worm on the hook. It's a free content offer. It's the tempting tidbit that you hold out there to get the prospect, the fish, to bite. And maybe I'm overdoing this metaphor, but you need bait to go lead fishing. And bait today is free content. Here's so one thing you want to do in your marketing is to come up with, if you don't have one, is to write and offer a bait piece. Here's one I have in my business where we sell marketing services, and we also sell information products, e-books, seminars, regular books on marketing topics. So to get people to buy into these various offers, we offer as a premium or a bait piece a special report, a 50-page special report called Online Marketing That Works, how to profitably sell your product or service on the internet. Now you'll note that in the upper right corner of this bait piece, there's a price. It says $29. That is not made up. If you go to my site, bly.com, bly.com, and click on, at the bottom of the screen, there'll be a horizontal banner, and click on reports, you'll see there's a shopping cart with all the reports that I publish, including this one, and you can buy them, and people do buy them for $29 each. So I like the technique of putting on your bait piece a dollar value on the cover, and then actually selling all your freebies, putting up a page on your website where you sell your freebies. You don't proactively market them. That's not necessary, but people will come across them, and they actually will buy them. And the main point is, though, so you can say to someone, hey, I'm just not making this up. It really is worth $29. People do buy it for $29. So write and offer a bait piece and assign a reasonable dollar value to it. People are more interested in getting your bait piece if they think it has actual dollar value. That's why, by the way, I like to use the phrase special report versus white paper, as useful as white papers are, because the perceived value of a white paper is zero. Everybody gives them away for free, versus a special report. People sell special reports. Publishers sell them. So that has a higher perceived value. Just my feeling. I know it's semantics, but semantics make a difference. Here's the role of the bait piece in the sales cycle. You come up with a promotion, and in that promotion, you offer a bait piece. The prospect either requests the bait piece or not. If they don't, you send the prospect more promotion. If they do request the bait piece, you fulfill it. You send the lead the bait piece. You follow up to make sure they got it, see if they have any questions, find out their interest, and then if they're qualified lead, you convince them to purchase and close the sale. If they don't make the purchase, you continue to follow up with them to convert more of those leads into sales. There's a response formula in lead generation on the internet. LGM plus BPO equals 2 times RRR. What does this stand for? Lead generation marketing, whatever kind of lead generation marketing you do, Google pay-per-click ads, banner ads, text links, whatever, plus BPO equals the bait piece offer equals 2 times RRR, 2 times the regular response rate. Adding a bait piece to your offer will typically double the response rate and the number of leads your promotion generates. And here's a great example. This is an email that I believe was from Bacon's publicity checklist, one of the PR distribution services, and they were offering a white paper called Perfect Pitch, How to Get Heard in a 24/7 News Cycle. Anybody who's a public relations professional would be interested in that topic, or many people would, certainly. So offering a bait without a bait piece, I would figure the response to anything about a Bacon's press release distribution service would be much lower, and it probably was.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah?
Yeah, so 2 questions real quick. One is, how did you come up with a cover price for your ebooks when you come up with them? Do you use a competitive price that's profitable for your business?
I look around and I see that for people who actually sell ebooks as a business, the price ranges are in the $19 to $49 range. So I figured $29 is a pretty typical price of something that looks like a 50-page ebook, and that's how I picked that price. Okay,
great. And then another question, what's the difference between the free content offered for lead generation and the bait piece?
No, the bait piece is free. That's the definition of it. The bait piece is free content offered to increase lead generation and marketing.
Great. Thanks for clarifying that. And then finally, I'm going to drop in here on one. So we have one question earlier with respect to gathering email lists. It says, hey, I have a local Chamber of Commerce directory and business cards from ongoing businesses, et cetera, that I've met. Can I send emails to those? And I'm going to jump in and say, unfortunately not. You do need to have explicit permission. So, Bob is going through in the beginning of this presentation in particular and talked about various ways to build your list. But if you don't have permission, you shouldn't send. So I definitely would discourage you from trying to send to a Chamber of Commerce type list. So with that, I'll hand it back over to you.
Yes, and I agree with your answer there, by the way. So let's look at some email marketing techniques that can help us generate more leads from our emails. One is to put the link, the hyperlink to the offer page above the fold. That is on the first screen you see. So here's an email, And there is, although you can't see it at the bottom of this rather longish email, a link where they can sign up for the newsletter and get the bonus reports being offered. But also, they make that offer up front as well in the third paragraph. And now you can find out the 6 stocks George Gilder is recommending today, absolutely risk-free, when you click here now. And it says click here now for George's 6 stocks. Now, they got the word now in there a little too much. But so the idea is put your hyperlink not just at the end where it would typically appear in a marketing piece. Normally, when we're doing paper direct mail, for example, we always ask for action at the close of the letter. We do that in email too. We ask for action at the close of the email. But in addition, we also ask for action at the beginning of the email. And this has been tested to a fairly well and proven to increase response rates. To generate more leads, put free offers in your own newsletter. I have a newsletter called the Direct Response Letter that's about direct marketing, online and offline, and it goes to 65,000 subscribers. And so I had an audio, a CD that was a recording of a class I had given on the phone, webinar, on selling software with direct mail. And to generate leads for my copywriting services, because one of the things I do is write copy for software products. To generate leads, I offered a free copy of this Selling Your Software with Direct Mail audio CD. And we put this paragraph in my newsletter, sent it out, you see it here, and got over 200 requests for, actually this is so old it was an audio tape, not a CD. We got 200 requests for the tape, and I remember of those, at least a third of them were very qualified software companies, and some of them explicitly expressed interest in copywriting, and we must have done well over $20,000 worth of projects out of this one offer. Probably could have done more, but my capacity was taken up. But in 200 hours, I'm sorry, in 48 hours, we got 200 leads, 200 requests for the audio content. So put items in your newsletter itself, not just sending solo emails to your newsletter, but whenever you publish a newsletter, you can have within those, even though your newsletter is content, you can also have little ads and offers in there that will generate response. And as long as more, 50 to 80% of the E-Zine is truly content, no one will have a problem with this. Why do people open emails? Here's a study that was done from socialquickstarter.com. The main reason, as we had discussed, was the from line. The top reason is the organization it is from. And therefore, if you are in your prospect's inner circle, if you're in the 16 companies that they always open emails from, your from line is going to communicate that, and there's no more important part of your email than the from line. The second most important part of the email, as this graph shows, is the subject line. You can, given the same from line, you can increase open rates 25 to 50% or more just by using one subject line instead of another. And we split test a lot, so we know this to be a fact. The offer is the third most important reason that they open the email. And then following that, the first few lines of the body of the email, when they read that, determines whether they're going to open it or not. And then there's the don't open or do not receive emails from business or nonprofit, and then expected length size of emails. Not sure what that second to last item is in their survey, but and then I'm not exactly sure how they know the expected length or size of the email either, but I certainly buy into the first 4 items on this list. So we talked about the from line being so important. Who's in the from line? What does the from line say? Well, there's 4 choices. It can be from the list owner, from you, from your company, or from your team. What do we mean by that? The list owner, the from line should be from the list owner when the list owner requires it, If you're renting someone else's list, the list owner will probably say it has to come from us. When you're emailing to a community of interest, when you're emailing to an E-Zine list, when you're emailing to the visitors of a popular quality site or frequent visitors. The email should come from your company when you are a well-known company or brand or a market leader, or the recipient may think they are a customer of yours. For example, if I was Microsoft, my from line would be from Microsoft when mailing to IT professionals. Even if the firm I was mailing into wasn't necessarily a Microsoft shop, there's going to be people there who think that they have some software or some services they buy from Microsoft, and then that they are a Microsoft customer and will pay attention to it. The email should come from you, your name personally, when it's a personal message, when you're a guru or a celebrity or a known personality in your industry, or when your company is not well known to recipient. So instead of from Syzygy software, if no one knows what that is, they'll assume that's automatically spam. But if your name is Sam Rockwell and you say from Sam Rockwell, well, that could be a personal email, so that's a better choice. And the team is just a little copywriting gimmick. Instead of saying from Adobe, say the Adobe team. It just creates the perception that there's this hardworking, smart group of professionals standing behind the product that you are promoting. Click-through rates vary widely depending on a number of factors, which are listed on this site. And I think the last few bullets, the last 3 bullets are the key ones. If you're sending free offers to your house list, you've built up your own opt-in e-list, and you're offering free white papers, free webinars, you can expect a 6 to 10% click-through rate on your email. If you're selling something for money to your house list, you can expect a 3 to 5% click-through rate on the email. And if you're sending offers to third-party lists, much less effective than going to your own opt-in list, you're going to get 1 or 2%, if that. 4 steps to writing stronger solo email marketing messages. Matt Fury, who's a successful internet marketer, gives these rules. Brevity. Messages are 500 words or less. So if you've been wondering how long should they be, Matt says no more than 500 words. I know a lot of people say 250 words. But, if you can write an engaging message, I don't see why you can't do longer, like Matt says. Intimacy. Matt makes his messages feel like they are personally addressed to the reader. Formality. He creates a bond with his readers by writing like he speaks and using the language. If it's the insurance industry, he uses industry insurance jargon. Pace. Matt varies the pace of his writing so you never feel like it is slowing down. It's always lively and fun to read. Some more tips for writing emails. This comes from Don Rainley, a communications professor from a seminar he presented at the Newsletter Publishers Association meeting. Write for scanners and surfers. Provide information quickly and easily. Think both verbally and visually. Can you get your message across just with text, or do you need HTML so you can show an image or a picture? Use lots of lists and bullets. Write text in chunks. Use hyperlinks throughout the email to generate response, and write in an informational style. So even if you're selling something, it sounds like the reader's learning something. It sounds like content. One good way to write sales messages is to use the motivating sequence, which basically says, that you should first get attention, second, state the problem that your product or service solves, 3, position your product or service as the solution, 4, prove your offer is the best, and 5, ask the reader to take action, whether calling a toll-free number, attending a webinar, downloading a white paper, seeing a demo. And here's a great attention. This was an email for a high-tech device, a handheld computer that was used, that could work at sub-zero temperatures. Why you need something like that, I'm not sure, but I think it had to do with the frozen foods industry. And so attention, the top box of the email gets attention, has a picture of the product, which is very high-techy looking, and it says freeze. Now that's a good headline, because from all those cop shows we watch, what does freeze mean? It means stop. So it stops you. It gets you to pay attention. Second step, state the problem. Do you need a handheld computer that operates at the same temperature as cherry berry fudge ice cream, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit? If you do, and you read that, you're going to be interested. Then it positions their product, the 7530 handheld computer, as the solution. The bullets give proof that it is a superior instrument for doing that kind of work in that kind of environment. And then the call to action, kind of a cutesy play on words, get the cold, hard facts. You click on there and you get some more information on the product. Anatomy of an email marketing message, you guys already know this. The from line up top shouldn't be more than 35 to 40 characters, because if it's longer, the email reader will cut them off. Craig, didn't you do a study, or didn't you guys do a survey that found if the subject line was 27 to 37 characters, you got a better response rate? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, exactly. The ideal subject line length, shorter is better, pretty consistently, and the ideal range seemed to be somewhere between about 25 and 40 characters. As soon as you go beyond a length of about 40 characters, you see a very rapid drop-off in response rate. So you can send the exact same content and simply change your subject line from 70 characters to 40 characters, and you'll see these are big changes, like 20+%. They're not like 2 or 3%. You'll see notably large improvement in the response rate.
See, Craig told me that some months ago at one of our webinars. I just thought the problem with a long subject line was that it got cut off, but it actually depresses response rates. Now, if you look at this anatomy of an email message, within the first 2 paragraphs, there's a link, a hyperlink to the offer. We use bullets to get across product features. Always use bullets and lists when you can. You close with the link and the offer, and at the end you have opt-out language, so that if someone doesn't want to continue to receive your emails, they know what to do. We respect your online time and privacy and pledge not to abuse this medium. If you prefer not to receive further emails from us of this type, please reply to this email and type remove in the subject line, or whatever your opt-out mechanism is that you choose. And but you always give them the option of saying no thank you to further emails. This way you are, this helps prevent spam complaints. Proactive viral marketing, a good way to increase your marketing reach is to tell people who get your emails, whether it's content or special offers, to share them. And up to 10% of recipients who open an email with one of these viral offers, here it says, P.S. give this special gift offer to your friends by forwarding this email now. They'll be glad you did. Up to 10% of recipients will pass it on. So that's an extra 10% reach beyond the size of your own list. Pretty good for typing a line or two of copy. What subject lines do best? We did a split mail test, and the point of this is that if you're going to test one thing, given that the from line is already set, if you're going to test one thing, test your subject lines. One subject line can make a 10, 25% or more difference. Here was for a firm that was selling mailing list brokerage services, postal, and they tested 2 subject lines, boost sales, increase profits, and expand market awareness, and 2, free direct mail encyclopedia. Which do you think won? It was number 2, free direct mail encyclopedia, outpulled number 1 by 25%. And the reason I think is that you're getting something tangible, a free direct mail encyclopedia. Yes, spam filters will depress response to emails with the word free in them, in the subject line, but free or other selling words lift response. Consumers respond to it. Business prospects respond to it. And so the net effect, the blue minus the red, the green is net, you still have a lift in response. not as much as you'd have if there was no spam filters, but you still have a net lift in response. And so free can and should be used in emails and subject line. That is what we have found. Here's another split test of 3 subject lines for an email offering a free subscription to a business travel e-newsletter. Business travel got you down. Traveling well is the best revenge. Travel tips for road warriors. One of these pulled 50% over the others. Which do you think? It was number 2, traveling well is the best revenge. And I can give no logical explanation. I think they're all good subject lines, all very competent. And that's the lesson here is you never know what's going to work until you test it. More email copywriting tips. Sorry. Let's see if we can get back. Can we go back to, Craig? Begin with a killer headline and lead in sentence. Get a terrific benefit right up front. In the first paragraph, deliver a mini version of your complete message. State the offer and provide an immediate response mechanism, call to action, hyperlink. Next, present expanded copy that covers features, benefits, proof, and other information. Repeat the offer and response in the close of the email as you would in a traditional direct mail letter. Follow-up in lead generation is a key to success. That is in turning leads into qualified prospects into sales. If you don't follow up, you find roughly that 10% of your leads ultimately result in a customer, 10 to 15%. If you do follow up, you can double or triple that, find that 30% or even more can turn into a paying customer. And you can follow up in 3 ways. Contact management, use a contact management system, automated online with autoresponders, and then what I call clippings, just sending things randomly to, that are of interest to particular prospects. You know, if you have a prospect in the trucking industry and see an interesting article on using factoring and trucking to increase cash flow, you know, send him that email or that e-zine or that article. So a personal follow-up, automated online through autoresponders, and then contact managed. We use put the lead in the contact management system and schedule periodic emails and calls. To sum it up, make an offer in your email. Make it a free offer. Your best prospects are people who already know you because they're on your house opt-in e-list. Get an inquiry first, just the name and email address. Worry about the data, the qualifying data. You know, do they own a farm or do they own cows, whatever your questions are later. Work the funnel. Free offer, then an inexpensive low-end front-end offer, then upsell to your premium service. Convert leads to customers quickly. You find in email marketing that 90% of those on your list who will ultimately buy something for you will do so within the first 90 days of joining your list. So the more people you can get to convert to buyers quickly, the better. And communicate regularly with your prospects. Excuse me. And e-zine is the best way of doing that. I want to thank you for attending, and we hope that this was helpful to you. Craig, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great, and thanks again, Bob. We're up towards the end of the presentation, so we appreciate you, everybody, hanging on with us. So we got to as many questions as we could. What we will do is we'll go ahead and put together the white paper. So we'll keep the line open for a few more minutes. So if you do have some questions, go ahead and pop them in there. We will include them on the follow-up white paper that you'll get. And again, you can watch for that early next week. So with that, we're going to sign off. As I said, other than we'll keep the console open. So do keep your questions coming. We will get them to you in a follow-up white paper. Thanks again for joining us, Bob, and thank you everybody else for joining us too.